Hello, I am making a presentation on Indian Research Information Network System, the software developed by InflipNet Center at Gandhinagar. This software manages profiles of scientists, faculty and researchers. Let us look at the issues that we have, the challenges that we have. For one thing, research activities of faculty members or researchers or scientists is not known within organization as well as across organization, which makes it a problem for interoperability among institutions at national level. The second thing is that publications do not necessarily reflect expertise of people. So one have to go beyond publication to look at the expertise, and it is hard to find right experts for research collaboration as well as for the student. He doesn't find right guide to guide his research. Many faculty members or scholars do not even know what is happening within their organization because there is no such interfaces available for people to interact. And there is no common forum within an organization or across organization to interact for faculty members or for scientists. Now, what is the solution? The solution is to develop an open source research information management system that can collect, organize the scholarly communication activities of faculty members so that aggregated and curated data could be used for research reporting, for decision making as well as for many other things, for example, ranking of institutions, for comparing to departments or comparing to faculty members for selections and all. So what InflipNet has done is we have developed open source software which is called Indian Research Information Network System with funding from National Mission on Education through ICT. At present, IRINS is available as software as a service on the cloud. So it is available freely to every Indian institute on the cloud. And in future, it would also be available as an open source research information system for people to download and put it in their own servers and organize it. Now, if you look at the issues that we have or the component of information research system is that you have faculty profile, and every faculty profile will have its affiliation, its publication, citation, H-index and things like that. You have department profiles, faculty profiles collectively becomes departmental profile, and departmental profiles collectively become institution profile. And if several institutions use IRINS, then you have a national profile of scientists and faculty available in the country. So this is the basic architecture, starting with faculty, which is, I would say, the building block of IRINS, cumulated to department and further cumulated to institution and as well as at the national level once it is applied across the country by several institutions. Now let us analyze one by one. First is faculty. So if you look at a faculty, what do you need? You need your publication, you need their citation, you need their H-index, and all these things are collected automatically by IRINS using Scopus, using Web of Science, using Crossref, using Google Scholar. So there are multiple sources where this information is sought from. The other information like personal research profiles, the awards that are received by him, all these things are collected by ORCID ID. ORCID or ORCID ID, as you know, is a unique ID of a scientist. Most scientists do require them. So as you can see in the interface, it has publications coming from Web of Science, coming from Crossref, then H-index coming from Google Scholar as well as Crossref as well as from Web of Science. So the multiple sources of information is given at a one place. You can also see that Google Scholar is also integrated for individual faculty members here, and not only publication, the detail of publications, each one having their citations, each one having their impact stories or alt metrics is built into the software. So you can see all components including authors network is also available for a given faculty. This is the picture of authors network. Now, as I mentioned, the faculty profile, the profiles of scientists put together becomes a departmental profile. You can see here is a department profile, several faculty, every faculty have their own sites with publication, citation, H-index and every detail that you can see in the previous slides. So, this becomes a department profile including all publication of a department, all citations of a department as well as H-index. Now, this gets cumulated into institute profile. Now, here is a screenshot for Indian Institute of Science profile management system, where it gives total number of faculty, their designations, their total publication coming from Crossref, from Web of Science, from Scopus and other sources, and their types of publication, whether research article, their books, chapters in books, their conference proceedings, the types are also mentioned, and finally there is H-index coming from Crossref, coming from Scopus. And then again you can, from the institute you can go to department, you can go to individual professor, all such interfaces are available including Solaris search factors, and so you have a lot of filters to build upon. Now, this institute profile, if several institutes are using them, becomes a national profile of scientists put together. We do not have an example here because there are not many institutions who are using, but you can look at the Indian Institute of Science profile here. You can also see that various department, H-index of various department is given as a comparison. How many, what department has produced how many articles and what is their index, what is their citation, what is their total contribution to the institute. This is all visible in this slide. Now, let us look at the functional use of IRNS. For one thing, it is automated updation of publication and citation. Nobody has to enter them, they would come automatically, they would be fetched automatically from Scopus, from Crossref and from other sources, even Google Scholar. Awards and grants are managed from Scopus. If you have a Orchid ID, it is taken from them, otherwise one can enter also. Annual academic reviews is also available. Profiles and CV of and single sign-on facility is available. Then it can also be linked to institutional repositories, to National Digital Library, to domain-specific repository and across for institutional search. And it also facilitates expert search, research, external research assessments and ranking framework. So, the IRINS can be linked to and can be used for multiple purposes. Now, let us look at the data flow and sources of data in IRNS. For personal information and for research activities, the data is driven from ORCID ID, from CVs, from HR division. The multiple sources can be used for populating personal information of a scientist. Publications and information, like I mentioned, publication information comes from ORCID as well as Google Scholar, as well as from Crossref and Scopus. So, there are multiple sources for publications. Impact, especially altmetrics figure, we use a software called Legato developed by PLOS and of course Web of Science and Scopus and Crossref. So, these impacts come from those sources. Now, the data can be linked to data repositories and to DSpace in case you have institution repositories, or the type of data, whether it is open access data or if it is toll based data, that information is also available. Finally, IRNS feed can go to research reporting for NIRF ranking, for India rankings and other platforms. So, basically output from IRNS can be used for various purposes. There is another look for where the data come from. Like I mentioned, for personal and academic things, it comes from HRI system, from NIRF data bank it can come, from AICT data banks, from ORCID ID and from linked. Even linked can be a source of information for personal information. We use third-party sources for citations and publication, including OrcID, Scopus, Web of Science, PubMed, Crossref, Google Scholar, Microsoft Academic ID, Loops, and Repax. Open source software, we use a group of open software for developing IRNS. For example, we use Solaris and Elasticsearch, FaceView, Vivo Core Ontologies, Vidwan database is also integrated. And for profile updation, again, like I mentioned, OrcID, faculty members and nodal officers can contribute to it. And finally, this data is prepared and add on and merge into IRNS system. And of course, the output and deliverables is that enriched faculty profile, updated all the time in real time. The data is taken from Scopus, Crossref and other sources. It becomes a feed to NIRF, to other ranking system, national and international, research reporting and analysis, and research productivity of faculty, departments and organization is reflected. And of course, one can find similar expert where you can collaborate with them. Now, coming to IRNS implementation at institution level, what you need is basically you need names of the faculty, their OrcID, their Microsoft ID, their Web of Science identity. So whatever identity is available is one requirement. Of course, once those things are available, once identity is available, publication data, citation data, social media metrics, alt metrics, co-author networks, these things can be built into. So basic building block, its profile is research ID of faculty members, which then other data can be fetched from different sources. So like in this figure we have shown, we have developed IRNS at IISc Bangalore, at IIT Chennai, at IIT Mumbai, IIT Delhi is also in the progress. So once these inputs are given, it is filtered and fetched into IRNS and from IRNS into Vidwan database. So what we do is we apply filter and selectively take faculty profile from IRNS into Vidwan, so that Vidwan becomes a database of selectively chosen scientists from across the country. Now let us look at the major features and functionality of IRNS. There is a dashboard. Dashboard is for the organization head who can look at the important scholarly contributions, their citations. There is a features for academic identity which is integrated with academic identity for systematic updatation of publications. Citations are fetched from Crossref, Google Scholar and from other sources, and whether they are open source or they are available freely or toll based is also given. There are search facilities that is supported by Solr based faceted search. Analytics facilities are available where research progress of a faculty, department, of institution is reflected. Then it provides a co-author network, and this network can be built for an author for a given years as well as for the entire length of service also. Social media metrics is available using alt metric techniques and open source software, and this product of IRNS can be linked to various institution repository, to full text articles and to the domain specific repositories. So these are the major features for functionality. Of course, once multiple number of institutions use it, then it is possible to compare one department with other department. For example, one can compare the productivity, citations and publications of physics department of Delhi University with physics department of IIT Delhi. So that kind of a cross-institutional, cross-departmental comparison would be possible. Of course, cross-faculty department comparison is also possible. Like I mentioned in the beginning, at the institution level, comparison in respect of research productivity, in respect of H-index is already available, but that can then be extended across institutions if it is used by multiple institutions. So what are the basic benefits to stakeholders? Look at the researcher. Why would he be interested to use IRINS? The first and foremost thing is that all his publications are fetched in real time from across different sources, from Scopus, from Web of Science, from Google Scholar, from various sources. And his ORC-ID is also integrated, so whatever the data that he populates with in ORCHID ID is also populated. So he does not have to re-enter his data. Only once he has to do it, maybe in ORCHID, and even if he doesn't do it, if he makes his Microsoft ID and Google Scholar ID, that data is fetched automatically. So in a way, he can see his recent citations, he can see his altmetrics at a given time on real-time basis. So of course faculty would be interested to use it. Then coming to research administration, they get to see the entire spectrum of their scientists and their activity. Their profiles can be seen. These profiles can be contributed to India rankings, to NIRF, to international faculty. So it doesn't have to make multiple reports. The same database would feed to IRINS, it would feed to Vidwan, it would feed to NIRF and to multiple sources. They have to report to the ministry. So those reports would be readily available for a research administrator. Funding agency, they should be able to see, look at whom to fund, and what are the performance, what are the past record of scientists, so that can be easily viewed, and accordingly they can take a well-informed decision about funding of research product. So national level and multi-institutional research to facilitate expert finding for research assessment is one of the basic useful criteria for funding agency. Now, like I mentioned, the multiple institutions who have already implemented IRINS fully, like Indian Institute of Science has done it, Central University of Pondicherry, IIT Madras, IIT Delhi, and National Institute of Technology, and Alagappa University, Pondicherry University. So several of them have done, and there are several that are in pipeline. Like I mentioned, the service is completely free. It is offered as software as a service, and it's available free. All you need to do is contact InflibNet and ask them how to populate your own IRINS. We can help you with that. Then if you compare IRINS with other international product, let us look what are the features that we have in comparison to the other software. The other software that we know of is called Pure from Scopus. So if you look at the admin model, both of them supports it. Reporting model, import model, award management model, all of them are supported by IRINS as well as by Pure. Then national assessment model. We have it, Pure have it, but IRINS does not have it as on now because we do not have that many profiles. Once profiles are there, once IRINS are used by across IITs, universities, this module would be built into. Let's look at some other feature, data capture. At IRINS we do using Scopus, Web of Science, Google Scholar, Microsoft Academic Research, ORCID ID, PubMed and Crossref. In case of Pure, they have added Mendeley also, Archive also, and couple of other sources which we do not have access to. But I hope that everything that is meaningful is already available in IRINS. And of course, IRINS also have an interface where faculty can enter their own data also. That facility is available. For citation count, Pure uses Scopus. We use Crossref as well as Scopus. Altmetrics badges are available with both. Publication counts are available for both. Co-author network is built by both. Expert finding, the technology that we use is Map of Science, whereas Pure uses fingerprint technology. Data import, the IRINS support BibTeX and CSV, and Pure supports RIS and BibTeX standard. Now, looking at some other aspects, application setup, Pure is proprietary and hosted on cloud. IRINS is open source and hosted on the cloud again. Then, of course, these, if you look at the financial aspects, the Pure cost $54,000 per 1,000 faculty, whereas IRINS is completely free of cost. It is MHRD funded projects and it is available completely free of cost. Once it is fully developed, we will also offer it as an open source software. Second year, Scopus Pure charges about 25,000. We do not have any charge on this product. It's completely free. If you look at the distributed IRINS infrastructure, right now it is on cloud, but ultimately it will be available as a distributed service. So there will be multiple installations across institutions. We will have a kind of a harvesting service where the data of profiles will be fetched, harvested into IRINS, and from IRINS it is again filtered to go into NIRF and other applications. So, and ranking frameworks and others. Future development, what do we plan to do next? As the data comes, as new institutions join, we'll have insight into what are the issues that they are facing. We'll attempt to it, but what we would like to do now onwards is we plan to use mean stake framework for a better performance, and we want to use MongoDB, which is much more sturdy and non-SQL database, and of course Node.js and Angular technology would also like to use. Coming to analytics, which is going to be a very strong component of it when many more institutions join, and we will have a national scenario to be seen, to be compared, to be project. So publications and citation, it would be much bigger databases, national and international collaboration, we should be able to project, and we'll be able to contribute in open access and closed publication access also. Now faceted search, it already supports faceted search, but that would be make more stronger, and faceted search would now bring data from various institutions and populate the analytic features of it. The linked data, we'll increasing like to use linked data, which will link to other aspects of it. So we'll also integrate it Vivo technology, which supports semantics search and semantic viewing and viewing projections of systems. So this was in nutshell on IRINS system. We'll be happy if you contact us for implementing IRINS at your institute. Thank you. Thank you for your patient listening.